Chapter 2: Flight Through Shadows. Neverland was not sleeping. As Wendy stood under the eerie twilight canopy, surrounded by the lost boys and the burning gaze of Tinker Bell, the island itself felt alive. The trees whispered in no language she knew, and the wind didn't rustle, it sifted like fingers through hair. There was no true day, no true night. Only dusk, eternal and bruised. Peter turned from the clearing and walked toward the forest's edge. "We move before the shadows notice you're here." "Shadows?" Wendy asked, following him instinctively. Peter didn't answer. Tinker Bell flitted beside him, her wings emitting a high-pitched whine. Not the pleasant jingling chime Wendy remembered from childhood stories, but something mechanical, brittle. She flew in erratic bursts, never straying far from Peter, casting hateful glances back at Wendy like she was poison incarnate. The lost boys fell in behind them. Barefoot silent, they moved like ghosts. The forest swallowed them. Trees arched unnaturally high, their trunks slick with moss that pulsed faintly with an inner glow. Leaves the size of sails rustled above. Occasionally, one would drop, not with a whisper, but with a thud that sent small tremors through the earth. "What exactly are we avoiding?" Wendy asked Peter as they climbed a narrow slope blanketed in glowing fungus. Peter kept walking. "You haven't seen them yet." "Seen what?" "Shadows," a voice answered behind her. She turned to see a lost boy, dark-skinned, tall, sharp-eyed, his voice low and somber. "They aren't people, not really, more like echoes of things that shouldn't exist." Peter glanced back. "They're pieces of us that Neverland took. Not all of us get them back." Wendy blinked. "Your shadows are alive." "Sometimes," Peter said. "And sometimes they lie." Lightning forked silently across the sky overhead. Wendy felt a pressure in her chest, not quite fear but something more primal. Her instincts whispered turn back. Her pulse replied go deeper. They passed a lake that reflected no one's face. Just the sky and sometimes something else. The others didn't look into it. One boy, tall, shivering, refused to even step near its edge. They reached a rise where the trees parted into a narrow stone trail. It sloped upward toward a twisted outcrop that jutted like a broken finger. From there, the whole island sprawled beneath them, swamps that boiled, beaches littered with bones, and mountains stitched to the sky with chains of light. And far in the distance, atop a massive, jagged cliff, loomed a black fortress shaped like a split skull. Wendy's breath caught. "Is that where?" "Yes," Peter said. "Hook's ship is docked there." She squinted. "I thought it was a ship." "It was," Peter said, "before he drowned it." A moment of silence stretched. Wendy could feel everyone watching her, judging whether she belonged here, whether she'd make it, whether she'd break. Peter gestured to the cliffs. "That's where he took the others. He's building something, warping Neverland." Wendy shook her head. "What kind of pirate builds a fortress in a skull?" Peter turned to her slowly. "James Hook stopped being a pirate a long time ago. Now he's just a monster." A low click echoed across the cliffs. Not thunder, not wind. "Metal." Peter stiffened. "We need to move." The lost boys scattered into the trees without a word, vanishing into shadows like they'd rehearsed this 1,000 times. Peter grabbed Wendy's hand. "Hold tight and don't look down." Before she could question it, his wings unfolded. Not wings of feathers or fairy light, but shadows, writhing, translucent, woven from the very fabric of Neverland's sky. They pulsed once, and then they were airborne. They didn't soar. They fell sideways. Wendy screamed not from fear but from the disorientation. Gravity was a joke here. North pulled like down. The sky twisted. Clouds reformed into shapes she recognized from dreams. And worse, they passed through things. Dark things. One shape darted beside them, humanoid, featureless, clinging to the sky like a stain. Wendy turned to look at it fully. Its head snapped toward her. Its eyes were empty voids. Peter cursed and dove sharply. The thing followed. "That's a shadow," she gasped. "No," he said, "that one's mine." Wendy looked at him and saw something change in his face. Pain, shame, fury. They slammed into a different clearing, this one colder, wetter, filled with tall reeds and insect chittering. A crumbling stone tower sat in the center like a wound. Peter dragged her behind a root wall as the shadow streaked overhead, searching. When it vanished into the fog, Peter exhaled hard. "I can't outrun it anymore," he said, mostly to himself. "What was that?" Wendy demanded. "It looked like you." "It was me," he whispered, "once." He stood, brushing himself off. His expression hardened. Neverland remembers everything we've done, even the things we want to forget. Wendy's chest ached. She looked at Peter again, at the youthful body that didn't match the weight in his eyes. There were centuries in his stare, scars without wounds. "You said Hook is building something," she said. "What kind of monster is he now?" Peter hesitated. "Then he's feeding the island." "To what?" "To himself." Wendy's throat went dry. "What does that mean?" Peter's gaze darkened. "It means the longer he stays here, the more real he becomes, the more he takes from us, from the land, from time." They heard movement. Tinker Bell arrived, not flying but walking. She looked different now, taller. Her wings dragged behind her like broken glass. Her hair was tangled with nettles. She didn't look at Wendy. "We have to go," she said. "Hook sent scouts." Peter nodded, then turned to Wendy. "We're going to the Bone Orchard next." "Why?" He looked over his shoulder, eyes glinting. "Because that's where the bodies are buried.